Say hello to the camera, Eric.
Hello, hello.
So now the quarter pounds are in really good shape, and as one of the last steps is to wrap it up and spray some filler into it, and then sand it down, and then add primer, sand it down, and then it's ready to make the molds. Now the filler is fully dry, it's time to sand it down and flatten it out.
Saturday morning, it's 8 o'clock, hot coffee in the mug, Taylor Swift on the radio. What else? What else do you need? Time to get started.
Here I'm also adding some putty, a filler, to all the low spots that we could see after the filler was added. So by doing that way we don't need to sand everything down to reach the lowest point of the low spots, so to say. And now Edvin arrived, and what's he up to? Let's work with the steering. There's actually a lot of work going into the steering for this year, because it's been a problem area since long. So let's give you a little bit of background first. So we've been running a customized Porsche 944 steering rack in the past. It's been modified by Basel Home Tuning with a quick ratio steering rack. But the problem is that with the geometry and the setup on the car, it actually creates a lot of effort into the steering, and there's a lot of load that goes into the steering. So there has been a lot of flex in the steering rack itself, and also there's a lot of play in the actual movement of the steering. The steering has been extremely quick. I think it's been around like 1.75 lock to lock. So that means that if there's a lot of play in the middle region, it takes a lot of, it doesn't create the best feeling when you drive it. It actually was horrible to drive, and I remember Alex Danielsson saying in the past that that he understood that I thought the car was a bit scared to drive because of the steering. But that was in 2014, and since then we've improved a lot in different areas of the steering. But still, it's not good. So the only sensible solution is of course to change it all together. So what you can see here is a Porsche 997 steering rack, also available on the Caymans and Boxsters. And this is a Porsche 944 steering rack. And of course we can see that the 997 one is noticeably wider, and that is really good for us, because to get to the right width of the steering arms to create the right geometry, we had to be running these little forks at the end of the 944 steering rack. So you can see this of course widens the track quite a bit, and that of course puts extra load on the actual steering rack. However, these are pretty sweet, custom made in chromoly, but we'll have to create something similar but a bit different for the 997. So the 997 steering rack also has a bigger diameter bolt in the axle, and the axle diameter is quite a bit larger itself. So it should be, all in all, a much stiffer setup, and also with lots of less play, because it's a newer design. These ones ZF steering rack, and I think the design is the same on all Beamers, but they're getting quite old, and I think they're just inevitable. It's gonna always be a bit of play in it, so that's gonna be greatly improved on this one. But what we need to do is, of course, to modify the cross member which fits the steering rack. So it's quite a challenge, and something that we put quite a lot of time into so far, and Edvin has been working a lot with that. But before I'm going to jump into seeing where we are now, I'm going to show you a little bit of what we're doing up to this point. And here Edvin is milling down the mounting points on the steering rack, because we need some extra clearance on the underside for the current aerodynamics. Next up is to create a couple of temporary mounting points to check out the correct angle for the steering rack and see the clearance between the engine oil pan and the rest of the stuff. We also need to get the steering column or the steering rack at the right place for the geometry. This is how nice the final parts look. So these are milled on a 5-axis machine, and big thanks to Order Production for making this for us. I'm going to weld them on the cross member.
Fast till film.